Hey, what's up guys, welcome to a new video. So in this one I'm going to show you how to pick a product to dropship and sell using Facebook ads. So product research is the easy part of the process. There's tons and tons of different videos on YouTube. However, the difficult thing is actually knowing why a product would be successful when you advertise it on Facebook versus a product that wouldn't be successful. So that's what we're going to be going through in this video. Make sure you stay tuned throughout the whole presentation, and I promise you that by the time you finish watching this video, then next time you go and do your product research, you'll know exactly what kind of products to look for, and more importantly, you'll understand why they make good products as well. So slide number one then, what you have to realize is that when you're picking a product to sell via Facebook ads, it's going to be different to the kinds of products that you sell if you're going to be selling them on Instagram or using Google ads or using Pinterest. The reason being then is because the audiences are different. So depending on what products you choose, it has to be specific to the platform in which you're going to advertise it on. A more clearer example is that people don't go on Facebook to do their shopping, to buy things. Therefore, the certain products you pick, you have to tailor those selections towards the actual audience you're going to be advertising to. For example, then this screenshot here, you can see that it advertises quite nicely the teens. This is the US, of course, but obviously on average it's going to be fairly similar across the world, is that younger people are using Snapchat and Instagram. They're not so much using Twitter, and less younger or teenage people are using Facebook as time goes on. So from 2015 all the way to 2018, you can see for Facebook especially that as we go along in time, that less and less teenagers are actually using Facebook. This is confirmed by the screenshot next to it, which a simple Google search for the average user age of Facebook, and it says 40 years old. So if you're advertising a product that's for a younger audience, then Facebook may not be the platform in which you find success on. You may have better success on Instagram, Twitter, or Snapchat. Moving on to the next slide then, further reasons then why this is more prevalent, more important. As I've already mentioned, people aren't necessarily shopping on Facebook. They're not looking to spend money, so they're not in that buy-in mood, in that frame of mind. Plus, Facebook has different placement and ad types in comparison to every other platform. And just to reiterate this through illustration then, unfortunately, Facebook isn't like this. People don't go into or onto Facebook to buy things. They go for this reason here, and that's to watch funny videos of dogs or memes and socialize with their friends. So when it comes to advertising products, you also have to keep that in the back of your mind too. So here's 3 points then to make sure you pick a product suitable for Facebook. Number one is demand. If you pick a product that's currently in demand, it doesn't matter when or where, it doesn't matter where you sell it. It doesn't matter when, obviously you have to make sure it's in demand, but it doesn't matter where you sell it, because if it's in demand, then people are currently buying it and people want to buy it. So if they see it, they will buy it. So how do you actually know then if a product is in demand? And the number one go-to source is Google Trends. It's dead easy, simple to do. Head over to Google Trends, put your product into the search term, make sure you're looking at a graph over the past kind of 5 years in the countries you want to sell to as well. As you can see here, this is past 5 years and UK. And then what you want to do is just kind of hover your mouse across the graph and just make sure that the current time you're at when you're looking at Google Trends, that your product is on an upward trend. So as this big fat red X clearly marks here, we can see sort of end of September for a beach towel is at the lowest peak possible, if that makes sense. It's at the lowest rating popularity wise, which means if you try and sell a beach towel now in the UK, the chances are nobody's going to buy them because nobody wants them. It's not a very popular search term. Moving on to a good example then of when you would want to sell a product. This is the LED dog collar, the stereotypical dropshipping item. Now I'm not necessarily saying you should go out and sell this item because now's a good time, but what I'm trying to illustrate is that you want to sell a product that's currently on the upward trend, because then there's more and more people coming into the market, there's more and more people showing interest, and therefore there's going to be more and more people buying that product. So green tick, this would be a good example then of what you're looking for. So as I record this video now, it's the 22nd of October, and you can see clearly here that it's kind of at the very bottom of the peak. It's going to start rising up as time goes on. So a product like this is becoming more and more popular. More and more people want a product like this. So now would be a good time, for example. Number two then is connection. The bigger the connection of your product to your audience has, then the more likely people are to buy your product. And that's just 100% fact. And the reason being then, as I've previously mentioned, people are on Facebook to do their shopping, to buy things. So unless they see a product that has a really strong connection with that individual, then they're not going to have that reaction to it. They're not going to be interested in it. And here's kind of like a nice illustration of what I mean by here. So as an example audience then, we're targeting a 50-year-old female. She could be retired and she has 2 pet Yorkshire Terriers. So you could try and advertise this first product here, which is quite a nice bracelet. It looks like a decent product, but it's not a super strong specific connection. Therefore, we could improve that connection level, and therefore we'd be more likely to get more attention, more clicks, and therefore more buyers. That is why I've only rated this a connection level of 4 out of 10. We can improve this then by actually advertising a Yorkshire Terrier necklace to this audience. And the reason that's got a higher connection level is because now we're showing her a dog product that is specific to the actual dogs she owns. So an ad, a product like this, put in front of this particular audience as an example, would definitely get more traction. It would definitely get more eyes on. There'd be more interest, more clicks, and the chances are more purchases too, because it's more specific. There's more of a connection with this particular audience. Now we can actually go one further than this and actually increase the connection level again and match this with the current time of year. So for example, a cushion like this, you've got the Yorkshire Terrier, which she owns, and we've also got the fact that it's a Christmas themed pillow or cushion, whatever you want to call it. So there's another connection on another level there. We've started out with kind of a broad connection, the fact that she owns dogs. Then we've gone more specific and we're showing her a specific dog breed product that matches the same dog breed she owns. Then we're doing the same thing again here, but then we're also matching it with the current time of year. So that is why this one gets a connection level of 10 out of 10, because it's purely relevant for this time of year and purely specific in the fact that it's got a Yorkshire Terrier image on the cushion and she owns Yorkshire Terrier. So hopefully that makes sense. Any questions, by the way, on any of this whatsoever? As I mentioned in the intro, I do get back to every single question, so just feel free to ask me as many questions as possible. Moving on to the third and final point then is a product that makes somebody's life easier, and the more valuable the problem is that you solve in somebody's life, the more people will want it, and plus the more money they'll pay for it too, plus the more traction it'll get on social media. And when it comes to advertising on a social media platform, then you've got to take advantage of the fact that if somebody shares or comments or engages with your ad, then more eyes are going to be on your ad essentially. So the higher problem you solve for somebody, then the more traction, the more clicks, more interest, and the more purchases you're going to get. To illustrate this, then I've got 2 product examples to show you. Number one, this one being on the left, which has the value of the problem I've rated at 3 out of 10, because yes, it does solve a problem of where do you put the pan to stop it dripping on the side, and same thing for the spatula, but nobody's going to write home to their mother about a product like this. It's not really that exciting. Yes, it solves a problem, but is it enough for somebody to take time out of their day to go and purchase this or tag one of their friends? Probably not. You might think differently, and by all means feel free to go out and advertise a product like this, but in my opinion, this product on the right is far superior because the value of the problem that this solves is so much higher. Therefore, there's going to be so much more interest in a product like this. Plus, you can charge more. Like if you could sell something to somebody that's going to make their everyday life easier, then that's going to be very valuable in their eyes, which is this LED walking stick. So it's adjustable, so it makes it easier for elderly people to get out of chairs and things like that. We've seen that Facebook also has a higher average age user base, which again makes this more suitable for Facebook. When it comes to picking products, one thing I haven't mentioned yet is that it's important to try and encompass as many of these points as possible. If you can find a product that makes somebody's life easier, is currently on an upward trend, and can have a really strong specific connection with a certain person, then you're onto a winner in my opinion. And going back to this walking stick then, it does multiple things. It's got light on too, which makes it easier for elderly people to see the ground that they're walking over in the dark. Again, with it being this time of year and the clock's going back next week, then it's going to be dark from like 4 or 5 p.m. So there's going to be a lot of time in which it's going to be dark, which they might have to be walking outside. I've seen one as well that has like a grabber on the end of it so they can grab things out of shelves that they can't reach. I'm not sure that's this one. So there's just multiple ways in which it makes somebody's life easier, which makes it more appealing to them, more valuable, and therefore they'll be willing to pay more as well. So they're the 3 kind of biggest points I want you guys to consider next time you're doing your product research. There's many more that I could go on to, but I don't want to make the video too long. Perhaps if you do want to see those points, then let me know in the comment section below.